Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crash League. I am your analyst for this. I am Look, it's Tristan, and today we have the draft analysis coming to you. We have everything done. The draft is over. People have made a few changes, so I'm not going to be able to give you exactly a round by round basis, but I have all the drafts here. We have everybody here, and I am ready for this. Sorry for that. I'm kind of still new to this, but I'm going to get over it. Uh, we're going to get into this kind of. First thing to remind you all, for some of you that may have not watched some of the other coaches' draft analysis or maybe the rules of the league, to go over some of them, I believe it was 105 point draft. Like you could use 105 points, and it's a point system. I think the highest is 18 or 19 points, and it goes all the way down to one. You have to draft a mega. You have to draft a Z crystal, as you see here with like water MZ, fly MZ, grassy MZ, etc. And then these bold ones right here, you had to draft a meme pick. And a meme pick, what they considered is something within like the 1 to 2 point range area. You could have kind of did three, but everyone had to agree on it. Uh, but yeah, so that's kind of basically the rules of this league. We have some pretty cool people. I know some of the people. I know one of the owners, Bash down here, but I'll get to his draft eventually. I'm just gonna go left to right and then come back to the bottom probably. But I'm ready for this. I hope you all are too. And without further ado, I'm gonna get started with the Seattle Sandlandits. Uh, Thanks for getting me on that one, Tsunami. Look at that. Look at me. Not even 2 minutes in, I'm already struggling with names. But with his draft, we see the Arcanine, we see Keldeo, Snorlax, Aerodactyl, Piloswine, Rotom-Mow, Dragalge, Ribombee, Lunatone, Absol, Megaskizor, and the Water MZ. Now, I like this draft. I think it's pretty good. I think you have some big threats. I think you have some low tier threats. I think that you have your coverages uh, lined out pretty nicely. When you look at it, you have for your cores, we have Megaskizor, Dragalge, and Ribombee. And looking at that, I believe everything actually fits pretty well together. Yeah, the only real thing would be fire would hit that core, but Dragalge covers that real nicely with its bulk. And then even then you have mons like Arcanine and Keldeo that take that Snorlax with thick fat. Like Aerodactyl might not want to come in on fire attack moves in case the game burn, but I mean it will. It could take care of fire types. This Piloswine has thick fat. It's like Lunatone even, that nice little meme pick here. Uh, Dragon Fairy Steel Core looking pretty nice. Looking at the Water Grass Fire Core, Fire Water Grass Core, you have Arcanine, Keldeo, and Rotom-Mow. I like it. When you look at it, it covers some pretty good weaknesses. Saying like when I was talking with the Dragon Fairy Steel Core, when you look at here, Arcanine is going to be weak to rock types, and Keldeo, along with the Water Stab, it resists rock with fighting, and its fighting type, will help it be able to hit more types. Then you look over to Rotom-Mow, and it helps with ground immunity. Uh, it helps with flying if it's a scarf type, if it has a scarf rather. Then we look at it, and the only thing I would really say with this team is I think that I don't know. I like it. I just think that it could use a little more hazard removal. Tsunami, I would say. Like, I don't think it's too big of an impact, but I think you only have really Rotom-Mow and Mega Skizor that want to be the hazard removal. and even then, I don't think that they're the best hazard removal. Like, I think it limits Skizzer to a more defensive defog role when it might not want to. I like this team though. I look at everything. I think it actually matches real nice. I look at the speed tiers. We go Aerodactyl at 130, and then Rabombi at 123 or 124, I believe. 124. Then Keldeo at 108. Then looking at it, I think it actually drops a good amount to Arcanine at 95. Uh, then you go Rotom, then it just drops down. So what I would say is kind of middle speed tier would be pretty nice. You have four free agents. I bet you could do something. Looking at it, I think your team's pretty okay. I like it a lot. I wouldn't say okay, actually. I just said it, but I'm not. I think I like this team a lot. I think it's gonna go somewhere. I think I have high expectations for it, and even like I think I have high expectations for all the team because there's only 12 of them, and with that, teams should be more like they should be more broken than if a regular kind of 16 team league would do a draft. But looking at this team, I think that it's very balanced. I like it. You have the nice physical attacking mons, special attacking mons, mixed attacking mons, nice walls. You have nice recovery options. I don't think that the team is limited in any way, and I like it. I hope the best to you, Tsunami, and I hope that you use the team well. Now, moving on to Jimmy G and the Pittsburgh Red Steelers. He has Kieran Black, Landers T, Heatran, Araquanid, Crocodile, Cobalion, Rotom Fan, Pawniard, Pinsir, Alakazam, Mega, and Flying Z. Uh, Actually, something I didn't mention on Tsunami's team would be the Water EMZ, and I like it. I'll go over Z moves better in for the further teams, but I think Water EMZ on this team uh, wasn't really the best. I don't think it's going to be used all that well because you only have like Keldeo, Aerodactyl, and Dragalge that could use water moves. So I mean, I think it's limited, but I think it's okay. I think you'll do good with it. I think it works well enough. So moving back over to Jimmy and the Pittsburgh Red Steelers, this is a very powerful team. I look at it and it's just like threats, threats, and more threats. Whether it's a Kieran Black or a Landers Therian, uh, it's like you have all these threats. One thing I would say, and like you have these threats here, like Kieran Blacklanders, you have Crocodile, Alakazam. It's like, and then you pair it with uh, Sticky Webs with Araquanid, and it's like it makes it so much better. And it's like it makes up for the speed gap between Alakazam and Cobalion for sure. Like because it goes from 150 to 108, like that's little speed tier breakage right there. Like that's it needs some help right there, and that's what Araquanid does. When you look at it, I think this is a very powerful team. I think that you have a little Volt turn with Landorus and Rotom here. I think it's a shame that Pinsir doesn't get U-turn, but it's whatever. I mean, it's in the shape of a U with its little pincers, so I mean, it should get U-turn, but that's a different rant for a different day. Volt switch from Cobalion as well. It helps get in the big threats like Hiram and Landorus. We got some hazards with Heatran, Lando, Crocodile, Cobalion, Pinsir, and Pawniard, all of them getting Stealth Rocks. Sticky Webs from Araquanid, I already brought up. That's going to help the team immensely. Fighting Weakness, I think, is pretty big here when the switch-ins are Landorus and Araquanid. Rotom is also the switch-in, but then we have Ice Punch that really does a mark. Like, Araquanid is going to be the switch-in, it seems like, to a lot of fighting types here. One thing I will say with this team, though, it's like kind of my little peeve about it is that I think it's very reliant on Araquanid, and Araquanid needs to stay alive. And when Araquanid is going to be used for sticky web support, because it seems like that's what the whole team is going to be based around. I don't know if it's going to work that well. I think like it's a hyper offensive team for sure, and it will work well under sticky webs. But if someone defogs the sticky webs and then you don't have Araquanid to help, it's or to put him back up rather, then I don't know how well it will do first per se. And then looking at it, Fly MZ with this team, I I like it. I believe that there's a good amount of mons that could use it. I mean, biggest one for sure is going to be Landers, so that's the only real thing that's going to be using it. And I mean, Rotom Fan could too. I mean, when you look at it, Landers, that's all you really need for Flying Z, and it's going to work. So whether Landers might be stuck in a Fly Z sweeper role, I mean, that's up to Jimmy. I mean, it's for the use of the Flying Z, rather. Other than that, I think the team's good. Nice offensive team. Maybe try to patch up that little fighting weakness because Araquanid doesn't really want to take that. Then Rotom and Landorus don't really want to take a predicted Ice Punch either. And then Alakazam is rather good for a fighting type to try to revenge sweep or revenge kill it rather. But then if you have like a dark type come in, it could be pursued, and there's just a lot that goes into Mega Alakazam. You have to watch out for priority. You have to watch out for Scarfers, especially when your tiers break down from 108 to or 150 to 108 rather. And it's like I think that you could watch out for those mid-tier Scarfers or even anything faster than Cobalion or maybe a little less, and then you have to watch out for those Scarfers for Alakazam. I think that if like this is kind of a bold prediction, rather, and I for my bold predictions, I'd like to be wrong for this, but I think that if Jimmy doesn't bring webs and he doesn't keep webs up, he'll lose a game. He'll lose every game that he doesn't bring webs. And whether that is whether that happens or not, we'll find out. I hope Jimmy that this team works out for you. I think it's a little too hyper offensive with a little bit of a lack of the right switch-ins for stuff. I mean, you have the bulk. I'm not going to deny you of that one. You have the bulk, and then you have the strength. I don't know if you have like the hazard and hazard removal though. I don't think you have everything that makes it mesh together so well as a hyper offensive team. Uh, Moving on to the Charlotte Chimchars, coached by Infernathan. I see it, Nathan. Infernathan with Chimchars. Where's the Monferno though? Moving on though, his team is Blacephalon, Tapu Bulu, Skarmory, Weavile, Latias, Quagsire, Electrode, Murkrow, Mega Kangaskhan, and Grassy MZ. And looking at this team, I can't go enough to say how much I really like this team. Uh, Blacephalon with Weavile, like those are the two big breakers of the team with the 151 attack of Blacephalon. And then you look at Weavile being the dual stab is just phenomenal on it. The coverage on Weavile is phenomenal. Then uh, you look at bulk and everything, and Skarmory, Latias, and Quagsire, that's amazing. And then the bulk, just the sheer bulk of Mega Kangaskhan. Like, Mega Kangaskhan is its own beast at this point. Like, I haven't even mentioned it. Like, you have the parental bond. The one thing with this Mega Kangaskhan, though, is you do not have the seismic toss ability to use. I believe you knew that when you drafted it, so you don't have seismic toss. You can't get an easy 50% off on a mon. I believe that's how it works either way. But anyways, like Mega Kangaskhan, you have Fake Out, you have Sucker Punch, you have uh, Power Up Punch. You like with all the other moves that Mega Kangaskhan gets. There's almost, I believe that there's no stopping a Mega Kangaskhan, and you have to go out of your way to prep so hard for it. And with this team, if you go out to prep like so hard for a Mega Kangaskhan, I think you're just gonna get destroyed rather by a Blacephalon, Tapu Bulu, Weavile. I think this team is pretty amazing. Rather, I can't say anything bad about this team. Looking at it, well, yet that is. We'll see once I dive a little more into the team. Uh, Blacephalon, Bulu. We have Skarmory, and I don't believe Quagsire got Stealth Rocks. So when you have Skarmory as your only hazard setter, then you have Murkrow, Skarmory, and Latias as hazard removal. I think you rather have Skarmory as your kind of glue for your, or it's kind of glued into the Stealth Rock and slash or defogger roll. And I mean that's not a bad thing. That's kind of what Skarmories do anyway. But when it's like that, it's kind of predictable. It's like, okay, I have to, like, when you look at it, if for team prep, it's like, okay, that's one mon that I know is gonna come. I could easily prep for that with like taunt or defogger my own or anything like that. But except if you have like, even if you have like a electric type or so, it's like, okay, so he's not gonna bring that, so I get to I get to decide through his other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 mons. So that's not a lot. Like having to be like, okay, I know 6 out of 8 mons are gonna come, and then it's kind of easier to prep if you understand what I'm saying. And looking at speed tiers here, we have Electrode at 150, I believe it's, or 145 rather. Then we have Weavile, Latias, Blacephalon, Kangaskhan, Bulu, Quagsire, Murkrow. Murkrow, then Quagsire, rather. I think the speed tiers are really good on this team. The only thing I would say with this is that, the predictability of the team being that you're going to end up having some, like, you basically for however long this season is, I believe it's 10 seasons, it might be longer, but you're going to have to, unless you make trades and everything, then a lot of these mons are going to be coming to 10 games or more or less rather. But like about 80% of the time, you're going to be bringing the same set of mons, I believe. And I mean, when you have mons like Blacephalon, Bulu, Weavile, Latias, and Kangaskhan, I think that's perfectly fine because what's going to stop you at that point? Like, I think someone is eventually going to figure out how to deal with your team, but I don't know yet. We'll find out during the season. What I would do, I would probably try to look for more uh, momentum ability, is what I'm trying to say. Looking for a little more U-turn or Volt Switch action for you. And looking at Gracium Z here, you have Bulu that could use it, Latias that could use it, and that's actually about it. So, I mean, Blacephalon with Solar Beam, I believe, if it gets it, could use it. Then, yeah, that's really about it. Grassy Surge with Grassy MZ is going to do wonders. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Fly MZ with Lando T. You have Grassy MZ with Bulu, and it's just going to work out. You're going to lose a mon or so. You're going to lose a big chunk. You're like he has the Bulu switch in almost. The only thing that would basically be able to handle that is Celesteela, but then you look at it, he has Blacephalon to go with that, and it's like all in all, I think his team covers himself a lot with his ability to break what he needs with his different kind of mons, and then just go in and clear the shop out. I have high hopes for you, Nathan, so I hope you don't disappoint. But I'm excited to watch you. I'm going to go over now to the other Pittsburgh team in the Pittsburgh Piplups by Monochrome. And he has Manaphy, Nidoqueen, Klefki, Porygon 2, Silvally, Sarina, Incineroar, Raichu, Machoke, Carbink, Megalodios, and Icium Z. I believe at this point, I don't think. Well, yeah, Water Z was taken. I'm sorry again, but Water Z was taken, so uh, I don't think that he was able to get Water Z with Manaphy, but that's not the biggest deal. When you look at it, or when I look at it, um, looking here, I love the core of Megalodios, Manaphy. I think those two are so good together. I've seen it in other leagues before that I've been in, and like the two together are just almost unstoppable. They cover weaknesses so well, and then you add Nidoqueen for those fairy types, and versus uh, Latios, and then you have Klefki. You Nidoqueen Klefki for hazards. You're going to be set up for most of the time to end up losing between Monochrome's big breakers like Manaphy and Latios and Incineroar rather. But when you look at it between the bulk of Nidoqueen, Klefki, screen support, Porygon, Silvally, Sarina, and then you have Carbink and Machoke. When you have that bulk, and then you have like the offensive presence of Manaphy and Latios and Incineroar. It's like, and Raichu even. Like Raichu could do some work here. It's like I look at this team and it's gonna be hard for anyone who is actually prepping for this. I think this is a nightmare to prep for. You look at it, and if we look at momentum options, you have Manaphy with U-turn. I don't think that you're going to be running that too much, but it could happen. It's a league format. Then you look at Silvally with Parting Shot and U-turn, Serena with U-turn. I believe Incineroar gets U-turn, and then Raichu with Volt Switch. It's you have a lot of momentum options. And then you have the hazard options. Like you're going to make sure that if anyone switches it on you, that they're going to pay for it. And then when it comes down to it, you have Manaphy that is probably just going to sweep, or maybe Latios that could just come in and clean up. Nidoqueen could be ran offensive. He doesn't. I don't think he has a role where like there's a specific mon that's stuck in a role. He could use mons however he really feels is needed here with his bulk. Uh, I think Monochrome has one of the better teams that is here. I know I praised Nathan a lot, but I when I look at teams side by side, when I look at teams like just looking at a team alone, I really like this team by Monochrome. I think that it's going to be one of the better teams of the league. I think that you're going to get a high playoff spot. You're going to you're going to I hope that this team is going to make finals. I That's my bold prediction for this team. Monochrome, go to finals and don't disappoint me. But that looking at it, it's like looking at it when you look at speed tiers. I think a little slow because your fastest mons are 110, and so if you have a mon like above 110, or if someone throws sticky webs at you, like we saw with Jimmy G, that I think that you might be uh, a little bit in the back foot in with that one. But I mean, you also have options for hazard removal with Klefki, Silvally, Serena, so you might not be that bad. Or and Latios, you might not be that bad in a foot. Looking at it though, again, kind of like the Z crystals, I haven't been looking at meme picks, so to say, but I mean I like it. I haven't like uh, gone over them as meme picks, but rather I've been looking over them as just picks on how they go with the team. I think that's how I should be looking at it, and I mean I think that's what I need to do. if I look at them separately, I don't think that it does the best for the draft analysis because it's the whole draft. So I think the picks, he has two of them, so and both of them are pretty good. I would say that Girder is better than Machoke, but I don't believe that Girder was this a meme pick, a meme a meme pick option at the point. So I would have to look at the tiers, but in I'm not really caring about that right now. So looking at it, I like Monochrome's team. Go to the finals. That's my bold prediction. Do not prove me wrong. Uh, so moving over, I'm gonna go over to the Philadelphia Floatsels with I've been thinking about this before I was even doing the video. I'm like, I don't know if it's Coaster, like Cody, or Codster, but I'm just gonna I'll flip flop back and forth, and we're gonna just be perfectly fine with that. So with that, he has Bisharp, Kingdra, Durant, Amoonguss, Pelipper, Infernape, Cresselia, Gligar, Driftbloom, Purugly, Mega Diancie, and Ghostiumzy. Looking at this, I look at this, and I like this team. We see a pseudo rain team with Pelipper, Amoonguss, Kingdra, and then I look at I don't with this. I don't think it's the best team. I think that this team has some work to do. I don't think it necessarily meshes together because you're you have like the pseudo rain team that doesn't need to be a rain team, but I don't know if it like completely works as a rain team either because I look at it, it's like what if you need to bring Cresselia during a match where rain is real good? It's Cresselia doesn't necessarily do well with rain. You could bring Rest, I guess, but I mean that just kind of hinders it in a bit. I mean, it depends. You have Bisharp. I've never been a fan of that mon, but that's just bias from getting destroyed by it in Gen 5 Elite Four games. But let's see. Uh, Bisharp covers some weaknesses here. Like we look at it, or not weaknesses rather, but Bisharp proves as a threat here. With if it gets in, it could possibly end up getting a knockoff or a pursuit off. And I don't know if Bisharp is the best mon for this team. Rather, yeah, you have rain support to make sure that the fire types don't necessarily destroy your Bisharp, but I mean, HP fighting it would be kind of better in that situation with your team anyway. Uh, the rain helps with HP fire, but then you have Cresselia and Gligar that just settle it all. Sorry for that. I just needed to drink some water a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little bit sick if you can't tell by my voice. So I'm sorry if you get any coughing or get any like my sick in like the you hear my sickness in a mic. But um looking at it, speed tiers, I believe Purugly is only 115 or so. 115 or 110. It's not that fast, but I mean it's Purugly. It's a fat, fast cat. And look at so you got Purugly, then Mega Diancie, Infernape. Durant's up there actually. I kind of forget Durant's a mon, even though I probably would get destroyed by it. Um, so Durant, Purugly, Diancie, then Infernape, and then uh, Gligar, Cresselia, Kingdra, Pelipper, or Kingdra with rain support from Pelipper would end up helping a lot. I think that you'll be okay. When it comes down to like the whole team meshing together, I that's why I was kind of I'm not confused about it. I'm rather like iffy about it. I think that you have the right mons here. I just don't know how they would work together. If you look at hazard support, you have Infernape with rocks, Gligar with rocks, Diancie with rocks, and the ability to bounce back rocks if someone tries to. Then for support, you have, I think Drifblim got defogged this gen, but I don't know. I don't want to pencil that one down. Diancie gets Magic Bounce, Gligar with defog, Pelipper with defog. Uh, and then you have Bisharp, which he's not a hazard setter or remover, but he has the threats if uh, he has the threats where he could bring in Bisharp on a defog, especially in this generation. While we have so many defog users now, that he could just get a nice +2 Defiant boost, and then he's just gonna maybe clean up shop with the Bisharp. So I think like I hate Bisharp, but I think it's definitely gonna be a threat with this team. Uh, I think that you could possibly do a little better in terms of uh, hazard setters because you don't really want Infernape to be a hazard setter. Diancie doesn't really want to take that role too. I mean, yeah, with the speed buff in Mega Evolving, you don't have to run Protect anymore, but Stealth Rocks isn't the best option either. You could possibly run a coverage move. Uh, then you that leaves kind of Gligar being the mon that you have to force everything onto, which isn't the best. I mean, there's Bisharp too. Actually forgot about Bisharp having Stealth Rocks, but I mean, Bisharp again, you don't want it to be uh, the hazard setter of the team. You can if you want to bluff sets, and that's fine. But other than that, I like this team. I don't know how it's going to do. I'm kind of skeptical about this team because of like the pseudo rain factor. I don't know if he's trying to go to rain. I don't know if he's trying to do pseudo rain where he doesn't need to bring it. Looking at the cores, you have Bisharp, Kingdra, and Diancie, and then you have for the fire, water, grass core, you have Pelipper, Infernape, Amoonguss, with other options. No, actually, no other options. Or, well, option for Kingdra, rather. So, I think the team fits well. I'm sorry if you actually hear my dog in the background. I don't know what is going on. She usually barks when like she's scratching her back, but that's different. Looking at it, this team's pretty solid. Uh, I will look at I hope that this team does well. I want to see how it does in action. I'm just a little bit skeptic about it right now. And then I'm gonna go over to the Houston Rockruffs and Zen. Looking at his team, he has Tapu Koko, Victini, Mamoswine, Hydreigon, Fortress, Seismitoad, Halucha, Raichu, Alolan Raichu, Munchlax, Mega Beedrill, and Electrium Z. And I'm actually going to take a swig of water real fast, so. Sorry for that pause, guys, but looking here, uh, Tapu Koko Victini is definitely threatening with just the sheer force of how powerful they are, especially with Mega Beedrill. And then you have, like, when we look here, I like this team a lot. You have the momentum options between Beedrill, Tapu Koko, Victini, Hydreigon, Fortress, Halucha, Raichu. Like you have so many options here that it's gonna be so hard for teams to be able to get around. Then you have the bulk between Victini being a base 100, Hydreigon, uh, especially with Roost and Defog, it makes it a better bulk option. Then you have Fortress, then you have Seismitoad, and Munchlax even. Munchlax is amazing. I've seen it wall a Magearna, and I cannot lie about this. It's so amazing. Munchlax is going to do so much work for this team, I hope. Uh, you have speed tiers 130 with Coco, then Raichu, and Raichu under Electric Surge is going to help so much with whatever Raichu wants to do. Electrium Z helps out so much with Tapu Koko with its electric typing and uh, attacks. Then you have Victini with Bolt Strike, and not Halucha, but Raichu with its electric types for Electrium Z at least. And then you look at it, Halucha with this team, like the standard electric seed, right, or not Raichu, but Halucha, and it's going to work so much better. Uh, and then uh, I think this team is just powerful, powerful, powerful. I like this team. Speed tiers, you got Beedrill, Coco. I think I already mentioned this kind of stuff. Halucha, Raichu. I think this team is going to be a bit powerful. I think if you look at it, uh, this team is going to be one of the better ones. And then you look at it, Electrium Z does well. It has its wall breakers. It has everything you need for a successful team. And then, uh, whoop, my bad, guys. So I think I actually passed it once again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at this right now. But you look at it, and I like this team. I think it's a good team. I like how everything meshes together. And I'm going to actually go take a small little, like, 10-second break or so to get the next setup ready. So be right back, guys. Hmm. There we go. I'm back, guys. Sorry for that little break. Trying to get it. Let's see. There we go. That's better. I was messing with this, trying to get it right, but it just wasn't working out for me. Uh, okay, this is not what I need right now. But rather, going on to Bash and the New York Muse here. He's the one that actually brought me into this league, so I am I am very looking forward to rating his team and berating his team. Uh, just jokes all around. Looking at it, he has the Celesteela, Komao, Nihilego, Donphan, Jolteon, Lurantis, Persian, Swampert, Sharpedo, Typhlosion, Gardevoir, and Fighting Z. Looking at this team, I like this a lot. First thing I have to look at is the Dragon Fairy Steel Core between Gardevoir and Celesteela and Komao, and like that's just power on power and power because they just covered their weaknesses so well. The one thing I probably would say about this is like just with the core alone, I think that Celesteela could. I think Komao rather is the weak link, and this is actually triggering me. Komu, not Komao, but Komu, guys. I think that's. I don't care. Like this is what they get. Please stop this. My computer is. I tried to fix my computer and then I just. Oh well. Uh, Rant for a different day. But looking at this team, it just handles everything. I look at it, Como between Celesteela, Como Don Fan, uh, Gardevoir with uh, Focus Blast rather, and Typhlosion, Swampert even. Steel types are going to be no problem for Mega Gardevoir. Uh, Fire types are going to be handled between Nihilego and Donphan for Celesteela. Like, there's not a lot that could break through a Celesteela with good when you don't have a fire type or electric type that's also handled by Nihilego and Donphan and Jolteon even. But looking at it, I like this team a lot. Uh, I think it covers a lot of what he needed in the draft to make a successful team. Looking at the speed tiers, we have Jolteon at 130. Persian is a meme pick apparently, which I mean I don't know. I guess I've never seen it drafted, so I'll go with it. Uh, then we have I believe that's at 110 or so, 115 maybe. Then Gardevoir, then Swampert, or not Swampert. I'm looking at Swampert. I'm sorry, but Typhlosion and Sharpedo with the speed boost. Nihilego is actually at 103. I forgot to mention. But other than that, like looking at it, I think it has very powerful. Uh, it has he has a very powerful team here, and I think looking at it, there's nothing that necessarily is completely wrong with it. If I would have to say something though, is your hazard options for hazard removal rather is kind of on the low side. Bash, like looking at it, you have Donphan and Lurantis, and I mean, yeah, I guess like Donphan is supposed to be a spinner anyway, and Lurantis is Lurantis. I've seen a friend of mine do some really good work with Lurantis actually, but I think you're kind of limited in what your options are for hazard removal, and the 12% or 25% or 6% rather for Donphan and Swampert, like that's going to be a lot for if you want to preserve stuff. And I think like every percentage counts, and the percentage that you have with rocks on your side of the field is gonna end up haunting you. I think. But I think you'll figure it out. You have three free agents to use. I think that you'll do pretty good with looking over the like not looking over, but uh, fixing your weaknesses. And I think I have pretty good hopes for you. I think that you'll do pretty well with this team. Rather, I hope that you're going to make playoffs with this and move on from there. Uh, now we'll go over to the other owner of the league, the God, what's up with these names? Amityville, Ampharos. I probably killed that city name, but uh, coached by Crypto, and he has Tornadus Therian, Garchomp Raikou, Milotic, Regirock Drapion, Hitmonchan, Mesprit, Meganium, Mawile, and Normalium Z, which I do want to clarify here that Omni Boost are not allowed. So with this, I do not understand why Normalium Z is here. That's the first pet peeve that I've had. Like it just bulges out at me, and it makes me upset. And yeah, okay, so Z Sing, Z Heal Bell, and other stuff like that, I guess. Like Z Splash. I mean, are you gonna run Z Splash Milotic? If you do that, you're a lord, my dude. And I will give you like highlights after highlights. I'll like Z Splash Milotic. Get that a sweep, and you will be the best person ever, my dude. And so looking at it, though, I don't know. I don't think Normalium Z necessarily fits on this team, especially when you have like I don't very limited users. Like I mentioned, Milotic, Z Healbell, Mesprit. I guess if you need to that bulk, uh, then you have like Giga Impact if you're going to run a Cynthia set and Elite Four Cynthia and go with Giga Impact Garchomp. But I mean, other than that, I don't know. I don't necessarily like Normalium Z. I think with I actually looked over what was left, and I like Darkium Z rather. When you have Dark Pulse and Knockoff, Tornadus, you have Night Slash, uh, Garchomp, you have Drapion, that would be amazing. Dark type or Darkinium user, Mesprit even gets knockoff. I think Darkium would have been better for the offensive standpoint for your team. But I hope that Normalium Z gets its work put in. Please, Crypto, one hope, one request. Z Splash sweep with Milotic. That's all I ask with this. That's all I ask. Do this for me. But look at it. Z Explosion rather too with Regirock would probably be pretty strong. But I'm stuck on Normalium Z here, but I'm sorry about that. With this, looking at Tornadus, Raikou, Volt Switch with Mesprit, that look is pretty good. Don't doubt Meganium as a meme pick. Don't doubt Meganium as any pick because Meganium is amazing. And it's like you have Meganium with Milotic, and I actually don't think he has a fire type. Oh, okay, so he doesn't complete the fire, water, grass core. But I mean, fires aren't necessarily uh, requirement for a fire, water, grass core because you just get the rock type weakness for stealth rocks, and it doesn't help you that much. And I get it. I'm not gonna dock it. Like if you want the wall breaking capacity, then yeah, you could add a fire type. That's what a lot of fire types end up doing in the role that they have. But then you have like I don't know. You don't have much really to else that a fire type could do unless you have an Arcanine or something else. Like you don't really have much else. So I don't blame you for not having a fire type. I think your team is pretty good on where it is. I think that it's a little weak on the offensive side though. You don't need it. You didn't need a fire type, but I think you just kind of need a little bit of a better option for wall breakers because you have Tornadus and Garchomp and then Raikou, and then that's kind of it. I mean, I'm same like Mega Mawile is right there, so and it's like, oh my God, you're forgetting Mega Mawile. But I mean, I don't know, it's just Mega Mawile in my eyes. Like you look at it, it either play roughs or it iron heads uh, or it sucker punches. I don't think it's good for its tier, or not for its tier rather. I don't think it's that good. It doesn't have as good speed tier. Everything's gonna outspeed it. Like I don't know. There's a lot that could go by with it. I'm not a big fan of Mega Mawile, but I'm a big fan of his Tornadus, Garchomp, Raikou picks. And then you have like the good mons such as good defensive mons such as Milotic and Regirock. Hazard options between Drapion and Mesprit and Regirock and Garchomp, with defog options in Tornadus, in Hitmonchan. So I maybe get a bit of a better hazard removal option. I mean that could come in due time. It's not necessary. You don't have the biggest rock weakness anyway, so it's not that big of a problem in my eyes. I like the team overall. I don't know how it would do. I don't think it has necessarily all the capacities to be a huge wall breaking team, but I don't think it's supposed to be a wall breaking team. I think that you're gonna have some problems breaking some walls though. Uh, yeah, I think you'll do pretty good though, Crypto. I think the team's set in good hands. Uh, Moving on to the Portland Primates here. Gotta move back actually. Try to get in the middle. Portland Primates, coached by Honor here. He has the Jirachi Zapdos Tyranitar Durmanitan, Alomomomola, Hariyama, a regular Landorus. This is Sand Force Landorus, to my understanding. Sand Force Landorus Incarnate, rather. Spinnerack, Wigglytuff, Sceptile, Mega Sceptile, and Rocky MZ. Um, this team's really good. I like it. You look at it, you have Jirachi, Zapdos, and Tyranitar. I think things that are you have like the things that usually counter each other. You like because you have Zapdos, and it's countered by like Tyranitar or checked by Tyranitar. So you have Tyranitar to make sure that Zapdos isn't like no one could beat your Zapdos. And you have Jirachi. Like okay, what beats a Jirachi? Oh, Zapdos does. Okay, so I'm gonna get Zapdos. I think like the team meshes really well together. You have the Wish support from Jirachi and Alamomola, and Wigglytuff even if you want to bring it. You have that core. You have reliable recovery going around everywhere. You have the wall breaking with Tyranitar, especially with Rock AMZ. You have Darmanitan that could wall break. You have Sceptile that could Leaf Storm anything into Obliterin, except for Skarmory or something like that. But I mean that you could deal with that easily anyway. Uh, Landorus incarnate with Rock AMZ is going to be pretty good. If you could run Z Sandforce, I believe not Z Sandforce, Z Sandstorm. I believe, and you'll be able to get the speed boost plus the sand force, or you could run just Stone Edge with Rock'em Z, and you'll be fine there. Because without wall breaking capacity, I think this team is really good. It has the U-turn, Volt turn options with Jirachi, Zapdos, Darmanitan, Landorus, and Landorus. You have those good mons. Nice little speed tiers between the 95 and 101, I believe, that can that could U-turn. I think that a little bit of diversity there would have been better. But I mean, these are good mons to have the options to do. You don't have any mons that are like that have to be set in one role. Maybe Darmanitan and Alomomola, but those mons are maybe set for that anyway. Uh, Spinnerack too. I mean, I believe Spinnerack gets sticky webs. I believe that's what you used it for. And sticky webs with this team is going to be dangerous. I don't know if you're going to be able to bring Spinnerack necessarily and make the team as dangerous as it could be. If you do, like I'll give you the biggest of props, dude. Like I'll love you forever. I'm not gonna love you as much as a Z splash sweep with Milotic, but I mean, I'll love you a lot. So I like this team. If you look at hazard options and hazard removal, you have Jirachi with rocks, Tyranitar with rocks, Landorus with rocks, and then you have Spinnerack with webs. And then you have Zapdos and Landorus as your hazard removal, which I think would that's the one thing that you probably need the most with this team is working out your hazard removal options because taking 25% from rocks for Zapdos to just get rid of the rocks, if unless like there's no capability for rocks whatsoever, is almost necessary for your team. I think that, or it would be a big it would be a big plus if you had something to get rid of rocks that doesn't take damage a lot from rocks. I mean, Lioness is there, but 12%, every percent counts. So I don't know. I like the team. I think it's good. I really like the team. I think it needs a little bit of hazard support, and I think it would be pretty good that way. Uh, I'll move on from there. Moving over to the Tacoma Rainers with Teddy. I know Teddy. Teddy's my little boy. Uh, he's my son. Uh, Teddy, looking at your team, time to destroy your team for what it is, the scum that it is, because you have Hoopa Unbound, Sylveon, Superior, Galvantula, Machamp, Mudsdale, Executor, Alolan Executor, Alolan Merorack, Mantine, Tentacool, Mega Aggron, and the Psyche MZ. And Teddy, please, my boy, my son, you have 4 points left over. You have 3 free agents to use. You could do. You could. I think that this team could be a little bit better. I'm not. I'm not trying to say in the term that it's bad right now. I like the team as it is right now. But you have 4 points. You have. I think you have some redundancy here. I don't think that you have the best types of mon that you could use. I get some of the types of mons that you have. I don't know if they're the best though. Um, like looking here, like my biggest kind of peeve with this is you have like Superior and a Alolan Executor, and then you also have like Machamp, but you have like 4 points extra, so that you could have gone like Me and Shao, which I think would end up benefiting this team better with its abilities. But I mean, you have what you have. Looking at this, the bulk is everywhere between Mantine and Aggron and Sylveon. It's like everything. It's like Mudsdale. If I forgot to say that, I forgot what I was saying. But bulk, if you get some wish passing around, it kind of limits your Sylveon. It kind of puts it in the one kind of. It puts it in the one type of role, but it's like when people are like, okay, it has to be a wish passer. You could. That's when you take the time that you could bring something like Specs and just destroy someone's life with it. It's like Sylveon has that role where it could be a wish passer. I think it's going to be an amazing wish passer rather, especially when you have things to pass into. I think it's pretty great. Um, Hoop Unbound, I'm skeptical about Hoop Unbound. Just kind of like um, Mawile. I don't like its speed tier for what it is, especially if you don't have Dark EMZ for Z Snatch to get the +2 speed. But, I mean, I get it. Psych EMZ does well with Hoopa. It does well with Sylveon as well. Executor even gets Psychic and Size Shock, I believe. So, I mean, you have some good options with Psych EMZ. I would kind of probably like it spread out a little bit more, but I like it. Uh, really, so you have the bulk, you have webs on this team, and like that kind of helps out the Hoopa a lot, and I think that ends up helping you a lot because I think this team is just scary, 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 scary. I like this team, Teddy. I'm praying to you make this team work because you're my boy, and I really hope that you end up making this work. I want to see you do well with this team, and because this team is amazing. But please get rid of Machamp. I don't like them on. I don't think it works as well, especially when you have 4 points that you could use it on. You could get a Mienshao probably. I think Mienshao works better with your cores that you're able to U-turn, or with webs you could end up running like a band with reckless, and it's going to destroy something. But I don't know. I think Machamp it'll have its uses. Please, if you're not going to at least get like Mienshao or something like that, then show me the use of Machamp. Show me the good use of Machamp. Please prove me wrong, Teddy. In the case of Machamp, unless you do something upgrade kind of that, maybe upgrade Alolan Executor because I don't know if you're just trying to like fill your dragon in your Dragon Fairy Steel, but I don't think Alolan Executor is the best for that anyway. So I like the team. We look at it. Hazards. You have Galvantula with webs, Mudsdale with rocks, Alolan Marowak with rocks, Tentacool with toxic spikes, and Mega Aggron, probably the best rocker in the game. Uh, then in hazard removal options, you have Superior, just gain defog this generation, and Mantine and Tentacool. So I think looking at it, I think if you were to probably get a better hazard removal, that might be a. I don't want to say a better hazard removal because I don't know what's left. I don't know what you could get, but I think that you have the mods where it's like you might not want to run defog on Superior, uh, or you might not want to bring Tentacool this week. But then you want like Mantine, okay, but it takes 25% from rocks. That's kind of my own like. That's just my niche I have with the team. Um, so leaving off Teddy's team, with the two things I think is needed the most, I think you kind of need an upgrade from Machamp and Slash or uh, Alolan Executor, and then you need a little bit of a better, I think, a little bit of a better hazard option for hazard removal, rather, because I don't think you have mons that necessarily want or appreciate having to be stuck with a defog roll. Moving on to the Vegas Dragon Knights, coached by Salazzle here, we have the very disgusting team of Clefable, Suicune, Umbreon, Kartana, Moltres, Magneton, Gengar, Cryogonal, Volibee, Leafeon, and Megalopoly with the Fire MZ as the option. Um, looking here, first thing that kind of just points out to me, and probably the wrong thing to point out to me looking at this team like as a whole, but the wrong thing to look out with this team, but the first thing to point out with this team. Fire Room Z probably going to be the Z Sunny Day Moltres. Uh, Thinking like there's no really any other options. Z Sunny Day Leafeon with Chlorophyll or uh, Overdrive with Clefable. Sorry for just destroying all of your strats and like exposing all your strats out there, Salazzle. But I mean, kind of obvious when you look at the team. Uh, Look at the team, it's like it's hard to ignore. It's impossible to ignore rather the Clef Suicune Umbreon core, and it's like if you spend too much time on that, then you're gonna get destroyed by Megalopony, Kartana, and Gengar. And this team is gonna be so good. It's like you're not gonna be able to prep for everything. At least I don't think you are. You have amazing threats to get rid of steel types, with Kartana having Sacred Sword, possibly if you want to run that kind of stuff. You have Moltres with Fire MZ. You have uh, Magneton to trap steel types. You have Gengar with Focus Blast if you want to go that route. You have Lopunny. Like you have the options to get rid of fire type or not fire types, but steel types. Um, and it's this team is gonna win one way or another. It's either gonna outbulk you or it's gonna out offense you because it's gonna be hard to prep for this, and people are gonna lose one way or another to this. Looking at it, I think this team is just a piece of beauty with how it's so beautiful with how much of how it's so beautiful yet so dirty. Like it's dirty on the inside for liking it, and I hope that Salazzle feels dirty for drafting it, but he probably doesn't. But I don't blame him because it's such a beautiful draft in my opinion. Looking at it a little bit deeper, rocks option like hazard removal options. Still, we're going to go back to that. Um, you have oh, you have Clefable, and that's it. Am I? Yeah, you only have Clefable for rocks, and you have Kartana, you have Moltres, you have Cryogonal, and you have Volibee for uh, defog options. But none of those really. I mean, I'm not gonna say none of those want to run defog. But I mean, when you look at it, Kartana and Moltres don't want to because of how they are in general. They're more or less offensive mons. I mean, Moltres could do it if you're trying to be a defensive Moltres, which isn't the most impossible thing, but I mean, it's there. So, like, you could run defog Moltres. Kartana doesn't really want to run it, but I figure if you just have, like, one mon, that, like, you have a move that you can run on Kartana that you don't really need, that I guess defog could be there. Cryogonal and Volibee don't want to take 25% from rocks to defog them, but I mean that's gonna be there anyway. It could be used for that. Volby is probably gonna just be too bulky, and it's gonna take 25%, and then it's gonna like live 3,000 hits and still get rid of rocks and roost all the way up. Uh, I really like this team. It's probably my top three teams or so. I love this team. Looking at it, I think it's so beautiful. It's so dangerous. It's so filthy. It's oh, Salazzle, do us all a favor and just maybe like give people chances is what I'm saying. Give people a chance to win is all I'm trying to ask for. Like maybe if you don't have to even go with it. I mean, I'm not gonna blame you. I mean, this team is just so dirty. I love it so much though, and just if I had to do like a complete bold prediction of people that's gonna make it to the championship, it would be uh, Salazzle and Monochrome that I said before. So I mean, that's my very bold prediction right now is Salazzle, Monochrome go to the finals. You two. That's my very very bold prediction. But looking at the team, it's just so dangerous. It like please stop what you're doing. but I love it so much. And like I said, top three team, if not top two team, your top two team, in which I think at post draft it's going to be you and Monochrome for for the finals at this point. But I mean, we have a whole season to go through, so that I'm just giving my little standpoint right here, and just like I said, it just try to give people chances. I if not, that's fine too. I'm not gonna dock you for that, but I mean, you're just so dirty, and I love it so much. But I think the team synergizes so well together. I don't think that people are gonna be able to get past this unless they end up uh, hazard stacking you. But you have four options, not really wantable options. So I think the best thing for your team is to get better hazard options because you only have Clefable for rocks, and then like you don't want to put it there. And if you don't have Clefable for rocks, then you don't have rocks at all unless you run what uh, Magic Guard on not Magic Guard, Magic Coat on Amon to bounce back hazards, and so you have to deal with that. Um, But other than that, this team is so beautiful, so filthy, and everything in between. Good luck to you, Salazzle. Gonna move on though. I can't wait to actually. I'm gonna go back again to Salazzle. I can't wait to watch you play. Have fun. Going over to our last team. Going over to the Seattle Star Raptors, our second Seattle team actually, I believe. Seattle Star Raptors, coached by Bailey. And we see that Bailey has Zygarde, Florges, Ferrothorn, Rotom, Alolan Persian, Terrakion, Ambipom, Azelf, Fearow, Mega Blastoise, and has the Groundium Z as his Z Crystal. Looking at this team, uh, it's just good. like man, a few words here. It's just good. You have Zygarde. You're just gonna win games because of Zygarde. Then you have like other threats such as like Terrakion. You just win because of Terrakion. You have Mega Blastoise. Like you have all these mons that could do so good together. Looking at your cores, you have Florges, Zygarde, and Ferrothorn, and those just work pretty damn good together. You have hazard options with Ferrothorn, with spikes and stealth rocks, uh, and then you have hazard removal with Florges if you want it from there. Looking at your other core, you have Ferrothorn, Rotom H, and Mega Blastoise, which is always amazing core. Mega Blastoise is one of those megas that are always like underrated, but is always good anyways. Looking at it, the I think this team is just it's gonna be too powerful. You have Azelf, you have Ambipom, you have Rotom, and I believe that's it. I think Fearow might, or Persian does for sure, and Fearow has momentum options and U-turn, uh, and parting shot for Persian. I don't know about Fearow still, but it's not that important. It's a meme pick for a reason. I don't think it's gonna come to the game. I don't think it's not gonna come to many games, but it still can. I think it can still put in work. So U-turn, I don't think U-turn is the biggest deal with Fearow right now. But looking at it, uh, Zygarde is dominant. Uh, Ferrothorn and Forgus, you're never going to be able to take that down, especially with the wish support going from Forgus to Zygarde, Ferrothorn, any of these mons. Maybe not Ambipom and Azelf because they're kind of frail, but I mean, wish support going to any of those mons is going to be just like scary to deal with for your opponent. And looking at this, you have the momentum options, you have the wish support options, you have the cleric option with Florges as well. Uh, you like the offensive options with Zygarde, Terrakion, Anapalm Azelf Blastoise. I think it's amazing. Let's see, your hazard support is Florges, Rotom H, and Blastoise, which Blastoise is one of the best spinners of the game. Uh, so you have that. Florges getting defogged with the new generation. But looking at it, I like this team. I think it's really good. Uh, it has the options to be dominant. Um, it's just gonna be completely dominant to deal with. I think people are gonna have a hard time breaking through this team, but not as much as Salazzle here with his depressing, sad cores that's gonna end up causing depression among people that play it. But I think like this team is pretty good. I think uh, people like the speed tiers is good enough. Uh, Maybe the one problem or so, like I think that you don't have necessarily a special wall breaker. Like yeah, you have Blastoise and Azelf, but Azelf can't really use Grounding MZ, and Blastoise if it could be fit in a it could be fit in a kind of a rapid spin defensive role more than an offensive role, which could end up hindering a little bit. But I mean, it's okay. I think that this team's gonna do good. And that's kind of really it for all the teams I have. I'm sorry guys, I know that probably like the end started being a little shorter than what I started with the beginning. But with that, I like most of these teams. I like all these teams rather. But as the season goes by, we could only have one champion here with one team that they drafted and changed up during the season. I hope all of you guys enjoyed this little draft analysis from me to you for the Krash Season 1. And upload should be on Sundays for when they decide to upload. I'll try to link everyone in the description, or if I have that possibility, I'll try to. But I hope everyone is hyped for this season. I know I am, and I think that's where I'll leave it off. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I'll see you next time. Bye.